Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I want to start out as well congratulating you on your chairmanship of this subcommittee on technology and modernization, and to say genuinely how much I look forward to working with you on this issue. In addition, I'm working on this issue as a ranking member because I think it is so important that we're ensuring that veterans and VA employees have the access to state-of-the-art technology that supports the delivery of healthcare and benefits for our veterans. I also want to thank the witnesses for being here today to discuss the future of EHRM, this project, and for coming in a couple of weeks ago to help me get up to speed on a lot of these issues. We had a robust discussion about the history and the current status of this project, which I really appreciated, and I look forward to working with all of you to support the progress that has been made to ensure that the EHRM moves forward in a safe and a smart way. In almost 2 years since the VA announced its reset of the EHRM program, we have worked in a bipartisan and bicameral way with VA and Oracle to move the needle on this project. In December, as the chairman mentioned, VA announced its intention to resume go-live activities with the first deployment happening in mid-2026. I want to take this time to outline some of my concerns, many of them that I share that the chairman has actually already outlined, about the lack of progress being made by both VA and Oracle on a series of issues that ultimately impact our mission here, which is to address the betterment of veteran health and safety. Last month, VA briefed my staff that there was still dozens of outstanding recommendations from the VA's Office of the Inspector General and the Government Accountability Office. Recommendations that VA acknowledged it needs to fix, and yet has little been made on progress on those issues. It seems to me that these recommendations need to be addressed before any other go-lives are allowed to occur. I hope to hear from VA about how it intends to address these open issues before its planned resumption of go-lives next summer. I think that's important. I'm also concerned about the rollout of the 3B bidirectional interface intended to fix major issues with how Oracle supports VA's pharmacy operations. I understand that 3B was deployed this weekend, but it sounds like it's suffering from some of the same issues that the system did during its initial go-lives. The training is substandard and behind schedule, and staff are concerned that the solutions won't meet their needs. The 3B solution was meant to solve problems that were identified at Man Grandstaff, the first site to go live in 2020. Yet here we are almost 4 years later, and I'm concerned that this is still not fully ready. The lack of these fixes has caused VA Pharmacy to hire additional people and use onerous workarounds to accomplish the same tasks they did in Vista. These fixes are desperately needed, but they need to be done right, and we cannot afford any more half measures. Also, I have some major concerns about how the recent reduction in force actions at the department are going to impact VA's ability to move this project forward. I know that Secretary Collins says these actions will not impact veterans' access to health care and benefits, but I don't see how cuts to a historically understaffed VA don't impact veterans, and specifically the implementation of this program and our look ahead to these go-lives potentially in 2026. I have questions about how many people in the EHRM integration office were terminated under the probationary employee purge, how many opted to take the fork in the road, and how many others may have been purged through other methods. I also have questions about how the hiring freeze is impacting EHRM. I expect the VA has a plan to compensate for these vacancies in this crucial program, and I need to hear about that plan today. My biggest concern as we continue overseeing the EHRM program is ensuring that veterans' health and safety remain the top priority throughout this implementation. However, VA's track record has not always aligned with this commitment, also oftentimes prioritizing speed over execution. VA rushed into this contract accepting a false assumption that it had to be on the same system to be interoperable with DoD. It rushed into system configuration without doing the standardization work needed to make the transition smooth. It rushed to go live even though we were in the middle of a pandemic and all the VA staff were already overworked. It then rushed to move on from its initial failures. VA even allowed DoD to rush them into another go live, just so DoD could finish its project. We cannot allow VA to rush into the resumption of go live activities using the same old playbook they've used up until this point. The department must focus on improving their protocols, training, and efficiency on the front end before hastily implementing another go live. I want to say, though, we should be working toward this go live. I have all of these concerns. I think it's important they be articulated, but I do want to get to a point where we can see this being successful, but I need to hear meaningfully how these concerns are being addressed before we can do this. The focus should be on improving staff training, for example, to ensure that the tools and skills to be able to use the software most efficiently. The focus should be on establishing a structured project management timeline, something that I think the chairman has also brought up, with benchmarks and deadlines that must be met to push the project to the next step and eventually go live. The focus should be on implementing a system that maximizes efficiency within the VA and allows providers to have seamless communication with other elements of the care delivery system. We quite simply owe it to veterans and VA employees to ensure that they have the resources and technology they need for high quality, safe, and effective care. So I look forward to this conversation, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.